Finished the rough profiling on the blade part. Used only a file. And it's not perfect, but got close to the dimensions I want. Got a little ricasso going there. I don't know if I'm gonna rough profile the handle in next, or I'm gonna file in the bevels on the blade. With this Bowie knife, you gotta do two. Bottom bevel on each side, and then a fake edge on the top, in the front point. So I don't know which one I want to do next. My arm's already hurting a little bit, but we'll see what happens when it's done. Should be pretty cool. So here's where we are on the Bowie knife build here. Got the bottom bevels roughed in with the file. Got both sides done. Looks pretty even. Now I gotta move on to the false edge on top, get those bevels in. And then I could either move on to sandpaper and get it looking real nice, or we could start rough profiling the handle. Get that to start taking shape. But either way, it's looking pretty good. Maybe spent like 3 hours on it so far, give or take. It's starting to take shape, looking all right. I think the kids will like it. And I'll check back in with you soon. Update, we got the false edge beveled in. Pretty good. I think before I start sanding, getting it pretty, I'm gonna work on the handle. Just in case I mess up and hit the blade, I can just always fix it. Alright, so that's the next step. Gonna smooth this handle out, round it up a little bit, get the finger grooves a little better, a little smooth it out. Put some nice bevels on the guard. See if we can get that to transition into the handle pretty nice. And then we'll see where we go from there. Okay, here's where we are on the build. We got the handle bevels very, very roughed in. Starting to take shape though. Got the grips a little more smooth. Got those bevels in there. Like I said, they're pretty rough. Fairly even, not bad. Just for eyeing it. I don't know if that's the light. I don't know. That top got to come down on the left side a little bit. Yep, a little high right there on the left. That's nothing you can't fix with some sandpaper. And I think we're gonna start sanding. The fun part. Sand it up, get it pretty clean. I don't think I'm gonna go as smooth on the blade as I am the handle. I'd rather get the handle a little more smooth so you don't get any splinters or anything like that. And then maybe just get the blade to like, I don't know, maybe 200 max. I'm not trying to go too crazy on this thing. Just want to get that, that Bowie, that classic Bowie appearance. And we're gonna do something cool with the paint later on. Quick update on the build. We are at 100 grit right now on the bevels and the blade. Looks pretty clean. I think I might just leave it at 100. And even though it looks pretty cool, I think all these edges are a little too aggressive, especially if the kids are going to be playing with it. I want them to have a good time, not impale each other. So I think I'm going to sand these edges down a little bit, round them up so they're not as, not too pointy. And then move on to the handle. And once that's done, we're going to give it a cool paint job. So I'll see you guys on the next update. Alright, so here's where we are. Got the handle looking good. Everything's at 100 grit. And honestly, I think I'm just going to leave the whole thing like this because this is probably the last time it's going to even look this nice after the kids get their hands on it. So it came out pretty cool. I like the way the grips came out. I could keep working on this thing and keep going up in grit and get it even nicer. But like I said, the kids are just probably going to wreck it anyway. And I'm fairly happy with the way it came out. It was a fun little build, maybe 5 hours, 6 hours in total so far. And we just got to do some paint. And I think it'll look really cool after that. And then we'll see what the kids think about it. All right, so that's that. Oh, and I also sanded down the edges a little bit, just so they were pretty sharp before, so now they're better. Maybe I can get this one just a little bit more. And then the tips, I rounded the tip off a little bit. It still looks pretty sharp. All right, so the build is done. Not the greatest paint job in the world, but like I said, it's a quick, simple build for the kids. The silver paint was a little more watery than the rest, so kind of globbed up on me a little bit, but I think it looks pretty cool. Got our brass guard and pummel, black handle, silver blade. And the only thing I really don't like is that little pit right there showed up in that one, so I could put some wood fill in there later, sand it and respray it, but at the end of the day, the kids are just gonna bust it up and have a good time with it. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a good time making it, and thanks for tuning in.